hanging out, and I know you have got to go into the city for the Emmy Awards, and you're like, it's 2 p.m. I'm going, Nancy, don't you need to get out of here? No, you're taking notes on how to do, because you were new to this business.
It was my first Promac. It was great.
Are you looking for a way to drive growth, sales, communication, and retention in your academy? Kovar Systems 6-month Program Director course is designed to help members of your team thrive in the important role of Program Director. With step-by-step training, we will cover a wide range of topics, including prospect follow-up, overcoming objection, and securing enrollments. Our program will teach your team members to effectively communicate the values and benefits of martial arts, which can be a game changer in securing more enrollments at your academy. Our next 6-month course starts on this date, so don't wait and visit our site www.kovarsystems.com to get your team enrolled in the upcoming course. Again, that's www.kovarsystems.com. Enroll now and get ready to see some real results in your business.
Welcome to the Satori Lifestyle Satori Masters Podcast, the ultimate resource for ambitious, hardworking school owners that want to get their business and their life to the next level. My name is Dave Kovar. I'm a lifetime martial artist, business owner, speaker, and author. My goal is to empower listeners with the knowledge and the tools they need to break through barriers and really get their business and their life to the next level. Thanks for watching and enjoy. Welcome to the Satori Lifestyle Satori Masters Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Kovar. I'm super excited about having my guest here, my good friend, Nancy Walzog. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, Hanchi. How are you doing?
I got to tell you, she knew she was going to be on this podcast literally 3 minutes ago. I sprung it on her. So she's doing this under duress, but I talked her into it. So first off, right now you run Satori Academy, New Jersey, with 8 locations.
We have 8 locations. Yes.
Yes, and on the rise. But just a little history. We go back 18, 20 years now almost. Wow, time goes by. And you were in your past life, you ran a tell us a little bit about what you did prior to this.
Sure. I was a TV producer. I had my own production company. We did programs for Discovery Channel, HBO. So we specialized in documentary and children's programming and lifestyle programming by and large for cable and public television. And we had, at the heyday, 85 employees.
Wow.
Little factory, kind of a cottage industry producing for the Discovery networks.
I remember going, it was the place, you had your building with where your studio was, and right next to that you had the house. I remember going there years ago. And by the way, I'm sorry, I'm going to brag because she won't want to. Academy Award winning for King Gimp documentary, 2000. Mm-hmm. Yes. And Academy Award winner. That's pretty darn cool. And 2 Emmys.
Yes.
With Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yes.
So I got to tell you the story. You've probably heard this before, but one time, this would have been the last Emmy you got was what, 2007, 2008? Does that sound about right?
It was 2008.
Okay. And you'd been involved, you'd taken over, we'll get back to that. You'd taken over Satori Academies. You bought them from us back a little before that, but we're at our old East Brunswick school. Right. And we have Promac that day, and it was an all-day seminar, and you're hanging out, and I know you have got to go into the city for the Emmy Awards, and you're like, it's 2 p.m. I'm going, Nancy, don't you need to get out of here? No, you're taking notes on how to do, because you were new to this business.
It was my first Promac. It was great.
She's going to get an award, and I was staying at your house, and the next morning, so you went into the city, and I got a ride back to your place, and there's another lady I meet at breakfast, and that morning, and you just won the Emmy that day, and the lady, what was her name?
Olivia.
And she was like a VP of Discovery or something, right? Mm-hmm. It was just so cool because the funny thing was the next day she had some time to kill, so she went back to Promac the second day, and we had that small little group, and it was so intimidating to have the two of you there, and she's raising her hand and offering input. It was really cool. It was a fun experience. But anyway, so we met at you tell us a little bit about your martial arts background, your journey.
I had started when I was a young kid, kind of high school, doing Bondo at the local rec center.
Okay.
And did that for a few years in high school till you became, too cool for all that.
Right.
And then got back to it when I was a young professional in Manhattan. I was working in the television industry and got into Seido karate.
Okay.
Down in the Chelsea area of Manhattan.
Very traditional.
Mm-hmm. Wooden floors, the whole thing.
We have some friends that still do that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So
good stuff.
Terrific. Kaicho Nakamura was amazing to leading up that whole program there. And it was a great place to get back into things. It was, I'm going to just say I didn't seek them out, but it was the place that was down the street from where
Got
I
it.
lived. And
Got it. Mm-hmm.
you wander in and you join.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really cool. Was there till I guess about a brown belt. Then work took over, life took over. Actually, it was a cracked rib that had me not come back for a while. And then you fell out of the habit and got busy with work and professional and career and everything. And then when my son was 4 years old, I got back into martial arts. It was actually a Mother's Day class.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
It was a Mother's Day class. Did my kicks on the pads or the shields. And they said, "Oh, have you trained before? You've trained before." And I said, "Yes, but a long time ago." So that's what got me back.
And so that was at a Tiger Schulman school.
Tiger Schulman's in Middletown. We had just moved to the suburbs. My son was 4. He was a terror. And I was a mom in the Mother's Day class.
Very cool. And you trained, you got your black belt, like your second degree with them, I think.
I got my first
with them.
And then started back at white belt, went all the way through the ranks, and did get my second degree with them, and also my Joshu instructor certification. And I was just a volunteer mom on the side.
And how we met was through our mutual friend, Tom Callos, who was running his ultimate black belt test that you saw. You signed on for that. You saw it somewhere.
I did. I knew nothing about the martial arts industry whatsoever. And I had just gotten my black belt, so I was super excited about all things martial arts, addicted to training. And I was in the local convenience store, kind of like a 7-Eleven, go in and see Black Belt magazine on the stands. And so I want to buy a Black Belt magazine. This is so exciting about Black Belt now. Leafing through, and I saw Tom's ad for the ultimate Black Belt test. And I'm like, wow, that looks like an amazing challenge. I'm going to call this guy up. So,
there's so many paths. Just think about how different life would be for both of us to a certain degree had you not walked into that convenience store that one day and picked up that magazine. So anyway, you ended up enrolling in Tom Callos' ultimate black belt test, and you and I met, I don't know, 2004 or 5, somewhere in there. Does that sound about right?
It was at the event.
Greensboro, Alabama. And we hit it off, and then you came back out here, and then at some point you decided you're thinking about changing careers.
I was very excited to perhaps have a career change. The TV industry was moving out to the West Coast, and with my family local on the East Coast, I just didn't feel like that was a move I could have my family make. So I was like already into martial arts, really loved it, and started to think, well, what if, the Tiger Schulman people are like, well, why don't you look into a franchise? So I explored that a bit. And then when I was out here with you guys for the ultimate black belt test and noticed, and you said, you were talking about, I think I said, I'm thinking about doing this. And then you said, well, how far do you live from Edison, New Jersey? And I said, I don't know. I think I bought tiles there once. So, but for that,
And
crazy.
A little background at the time, we'd attempted a national expansion, and we identified a bunch of stuff that didn't work, and we ended up trying to manage a couple locations that we'd open up 3 locations out on the East Coast, and with another gentleman, and it wasn't quite working out right. So he took back his original school, and we took ownership of the other 2. I mean, we took management. We were managing from afar with through friends and whatnot. So it worked out. So not only, and when I thought is, maybe Nancy wants one of those schools. We're trying to figure out how to get, I want to say get rid of, that's the wrong, but how to downsize a little bit. And what do you know, we talked for 3 or 4 months, and you picked up both of them. Yes. And I think both locations in Edison and East Brunswick, you probably had 130 students amongst both locations. Does that sound about right?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Some, and so you took over, and now we are at, I'm guessing you're close to 2,400 members.
2,200.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Combined, because we're just back over. So between the 2 of us, including, we're at about 5,000 members now. That's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, and so over the last 15 years, it's been really fun to see. I get a chance to go out there about 4 times a year and see the growth that's going on. But what I would like to ask you is that, first off, similarities, what makes the martial arts, because you've been in other businesses before this, what's the same and what's different about the martial arts industry?
Well, I think same is that you need systems, good management, good financial controls, a business mindset in order to be successful.
Okay.
Different is that the level of high touch, people skills that it's required to be successful is something that I don't think any other business has it quite as intense as ours.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't matter how clean the mats are or how pretty the signs are, right? It's all about the instructors on the floor.
That connection is so key to everybody, to the success and the health of the school. So that part I knew, but it's really something that we have to keep reminding ourselves every day, how you have to be right there with those members, with those students, and hand-holding, guidance, not only for us being in primarily a children's program, you have to please the kids and also the parents. So it's double the amount of the double amount of relationships that you do have to manage.
And I have to say also, just a shout out, as you know, I brag about you all the time, but the quality of your students, the old, a rule, QQS, quality, quantity, spirit, right? Having good quality students. And of course you have to have a lot of them to be in business, and then the right spirit, and you just check off the boxes. It's really impressive. And how you broke the mold in the industry more than anyone I know is that you've done, although we've got a really strong T&T, that's for teachers and training. You got an amazing instructional staff, of course, Christine Brink and Tori Revere are, senior people right beside yourself. But so we're working hard to groom people from the inside. But what I think you've done better than anybody I know is you've recruited from the outside really well. Like if we look at our 8 facilities, pretty much every one of them has at least somebody that you hired from the outside. And I think that to the people listening, how many times do people say it just doesn't work to hire from the outside, right? And by the way, I love this line. Our friend Chris Santillo said one time, someone said that, and he looked at the guy and says, has it ever not worked when you hired from the inside? It was like, yes. So give us the listeners some ideas. Man, I'm struggling to develop my staff, and it takes 4 years to get someone that's white to black belt, or all I have is kids in my program and are younger. Well, give me some ideas. What can I do to grow my team?
Well, I think first you have to be a good instructor, as opposed to you have to be a good martial artist, of course.
Okay,
but you don't have to be a superstar martial artist in order to be a great children's martial arts teacher or a great beginner teacher. So I think we look for people skills, teaching skills. Martial arts obviously is a given, but you don't need to be a world champion to teach 5-year-olds in an engaging way. So for us, it was kind of a no-brainer to recruit. It was something we needed to do out of desperate need. Mm-hmm. And I'm happy to say now we don't need it desperately anymore, but it helps us grow. But when we were first here, we had no black belts. Mm-hmm. We had no choice but for hiring people from the outside in order to staff our
along
mat.
the way. I know that for every good employee we have, instructor we have now, they represent 20 people that have probably, filtered down to that one by figuring out all of the different people that you talk to and whatnot, because I know you're working that. But what have you learned not to do when it comes to hiring from the outside or from the inside? What is there something now you used to do that y'all never do that again?
Well, I think it's being not desperate.
Okay.
So having the time to
being ahead of the curve.
To be ahead of the curve. Always have people in. That's kind of what I call the warming tray. Mm-hmm. We have them just kind of hanging out there. We're keeping those discussions. We invite them to staff meeting to train with us. We want to keep them kind of in the mix. If I don't have anything right now, but I do reach out and talk to them. The people that
As a matter of fact, almost every time I go out there, you have someone for me to meet. Mm-hmm. That's kind of in that. And so it's just really smart. So basically now you've got, at any given time, there's a half dozen people that you're thinking about you could hire if you needed to.
Yes, for sure.
Yep.
And sometimes you need, and
Yep.
we're one injury away from needing someone to fill in sometimes. Yep. So and with the college kids going back now, we have a lot of our instructors homegrown. They go to college and they're not available to us either. So we just make sure that we fill the pipe with good quality people, and they are out there. And I just want to say I'm a believer that they are out there. Especially our curriculum is adaptable. We are not teaching high level kata to kids or anybody at this point. We're not hiring people to teach our black belt classes. We have enough people available to do that now. So really, it's just for our daily teaching, 7-8 classes a day. You do need more people that can be available to do that. So for us, that's helpful.
Well, in this day and age, it's easier now than ever to hire from the outside for several reasons. Number one is that, everybody does a little bit more of the same stuff now, like we've all evolved. And certainly I have nothing but respect for traditional, systems that do things a certain way. A lot of my friends and people on our network, I still do a bunch of traditional stuff. But as far as what we do with our classes, it's way more progressive. It's way more MMA-ish. And so that people, it's easier to plug and play people than it used to be. That's number one. Number two is that how many black belts have we produced in our community? I don't know. 4,000 or 5,000, right? And guess what? Those guys are living other places now, and so has so many other people. Meaning is that there's so many kids that grew up, adults now that grew up in martial arts schools that are all over that ever did. And so wherever you're listening from, I promise you, there's somebody in your community that's a phone call away from reaching out. We just got to figure out how we get a hold of them.
Well, we start with resume searches.
Okay.
So we're subscribing to Indeed to be able to search for keywords such as martial arts instructors, karate instructor, BJJ instructor. So we're searching those every day. I get an email of people that have put their resume up with those keywords.
And I'm going to stop you right there. And this is what you do differently, because I've had other people say, well, I put ads out there, but you actually proactively search out people that aren't looking for you necessarily.
Yes. And I get the best people because with that sometimes, in that they are not the people applying to a martial arts job because they don't necessarily think that there's a full-time career position available for them. So I get a lot of people who have kind of given up on the possibility of being a professional career martial arts instructor because they were, a college guy teaching at their master's school, and then they went away to college, came back, and then pursued a traditional career path. Because
there was no option in their master's school. And so you're getting somebody that, like you're just saying, hey, you had a couple of people that were rock star instructors that were making $18 an hour, doing some because they didn't think they could do this for a living. And all of a sudden you've got these guys that are, and by the way, what happens, I know I've got a few too, but what happens when you get this person that comes from a school that maybe wasn't, treated that well financially, or, how much do they appreciate working for Story Academy?
Well, first off, they don't think that they come to you a little skeptical sometimes.
Right.
They're kind of guarded. They've even been treated poorly, or they're like, no, I don't know. Maybe I'll come check it out. But you can see their guard is up because they just don't know. But once they see what it's all about, they're on our floor, they catch the excitement, and they see that there's a viable career path and a good salary and health insurance and 401k and all that. This is they are so appreciative and incredibly happy with us. So I think it's working out really well.
Very cool. So let's be more general. We talk a little bit about staff development. So in other words, go out there and look for them, is what you got to do, but proactively. And what are some things that you look at, and I know we both know a lot of people that are struggling to make it work, and our schools are thriving. We're working hard, super hard, but overall we're doing pretty good. So I'm a struggling martial arts instructor. Give me some tips. What should I be doing? What are some basic things that it might seem like you don't even need to mention it, but give me an idea. How can I spend my week?
Follow up on all leads.
Follow up on
diligently.
Okay.
Call.
Oh man,
text.
do I really have to do that?
You really do.
It's so boring though.
I sometimes still make calls just because I love them.
Okay.
But when I pick up the phone, I love making appointments. So for me, I love it. And
so I've actually been with Nancy. We've been in the front of the school after picking up stuff, and it's 8:30 at night, and she is enrolling somebody without even open the doors. They're giving her their credit card number and enrolling them. It's pretty crazy. And then she remembers their names too. So basically that's a follow up on every lead. Follow
up on every lead multiple times.
Don't give up on it.
And don't give up on them. You work your old leads. I can bet you if you have 1,000 leads, the vast majority of them have not signed up for martial arts elsewhere.
But they showed an interest at one point.
They showed an interest, but they're probably still sitting on their couch.
So have you ever had somebody that you called
many times?
Yeah, right.
Many times. Our reactivation or our kind of nurturing campaign that we send out to some of our old leads, they come back in and eventually enroll or thank us like, hey, thanks for thinking of me. I know.
So You've heard me say this 100 times, but what we have to remember is what we're not selling some used car, some worthless trinket. What we do has a massive value, and it's almost like it's our obligation to try to get them in the door, because we're going to change their life. They're not going to go 5 years later, darn you, Nancy, I'm so mad you kept on calling me. I'm in the best shape of my life. I can defend myself. I have all these great friends. How dare you call me that fifth time? No, they're thanking you for it.
Of course, you have to have a great product on the floor.
Which
so
brings me to the next subject.
That's to be a given. Like
Yes.
the floor has to be tight. You've got to be giving those interactions with the individual kids, using all the simple things like in the instructor's toolbox, using the people's names, appropriate touch, making your rounds, good mat vision, be an active leader on the floor. So I think if you're doing all that right, and then also communicating with the families, the students, showing that good progress, that good, they have goals. They know clearly how they're going to progress through the ranks. If you're doing all of that, and communication, I was just chatting with someone earlier today. Communication, we've had so many great tools to communicate, and it's harder than ever to get through and break through. So whether it's emailing, texting, calling, we still have somebody show up and mad at us that they didn't know class was canceled, but we've texted, announced, sent emails and all of that. So I think the more communication channels we have, sometimes it's harder to break through.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Communicate clearly.
Yep. It's kind of like you have to know what everybody's language is, and where their choice is. Well,
definitely.
It kind of goes back to what you're saying is the 5 mindsets, right? We're the friendliest place in town. And every time you go to a Satori Academy, you get that feeling. We're the cleanest place in town, and we only teach great classes, never just good classes. And that's one of those things that at the core, that's always where you got to spend time. And then we're excellent at student-parent communication, and every day we're looking for new members to recruit. So give me how important is it to you to being really clear on what the goals are for this summer? Are you going in the summer just winging it, or do you have a plan for summer?
We took a big hit last summer with people from overseas who had not gone back to their home countries for years during COVID. And this was the first year they could actually go and travel with their families. So for us, it was really difficult that so many people left us. My stomach turned when we did the math on it. It was horrible. But anyway, they came back, fortunately, but we were giving out summer hold credits for quite a while, and significant dollars. So we said, what can we do this year? Hopefully there'll be less of them because they all went last year.
Okay.
But we're looking to limit time off, but charging them through the hold, and then obviously crediting. But we're looking to limit it to a month.
Okay. And
then private lessons or makeups before and after, in order to successfully give them enough value for their 2 or 3 months they're going to be gone.
Got it.
So that's what we're looking at. And we're also going to be doing a summer online dojo for asynchronous classes, kind of pulling out some of our old COVID and kind of tweaking them up, and presenting a whole 8 weeks of curriculum online using a software that'll let them fulfill a quiz and submit their practice videos for us to look at.
Love it.
We're going to schedule some FaceTime lessons with them as well while they're gone. And we're going to appoint one instructor to be in charge of the summer dojo. So
wow, love it.
Hopefully it'll work. Hopefully it'll keep, people engaged and not leaving us when they're gone, 3-4 months, and then not want to come back because they fell behind, or I think it's going to be good.
I love it. That's awesome. Well, we're going to probably wrap it up here. I so appreciate everything you're doing, and I know you've been a amazing friend and amazing ally and someone to brainstorm with. Very creative, and you're doing amazing work for your community. So keep it up.
Thank you. And we couldn't do it without you either.
Oh, well, I don't know about that, but it's been a great synergistic relationship.
It's awesome. So thank you. It's exciting times.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, we're tuning off. You guys all have a great day, and remember, follow up on those leads. Take care.
Are you a martial arts instructor looking to improve your teaching skills and build a strong team of future instructors? Well, look no further than the Satori Alliance, an international association of martial arts instructors. Our mission is to positively impact the global martial arts community by establishing a shared level of martial arts instruction, professionalism, and continuous learning. With our instructor certification program, you'll gain the confidence, communication skills, and classroom management techniques to run a professional and well-run martial arts floor of any age group. We invite you to schedule a free consultation with one of our program directors who can evaluate your instructor team's size, schedule, and training content. We'll outline the Satori Alliance master steps that have helped build and maintain strong teams of instructors. To learn more about the Satori Alliance and schedule your free consultation, please visit our website at www.thesatorialliance.com/podcast. That's SATORIALLIANCE.com/podcast. Join our community of passionate martial arts instructors today.
Thank you for tuning in today to our podcast. I hope you found it valuable and inspirational. To stay connected, please subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you go for your podcasts. If you enjoyed today's show, please give us a 5-star review. And we really sincerely would appreciate some feedback. Your feedback helps us to create high-quality content that will help others in the future. If you'd like to follow me, you can go to Dave Kovar on Facebook or Hanchi Dave Kovar on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on next episode.